Hey, good morning, everybody. So, as I continue to clean, organize, and purge garbage from my life, I finally got my knife collection together here, and I'm going to start by saying this isn't all of it. It's not all of it in the fact that it's not everything I've ever owned. I have owned quite a few other pieces that are no longer in my possession. I've given a few to my son Benjamin, and over the years, knives come and go. But generally speaking, everything in this collection is things that I want to keep and will continue to add to, you know, because I enjoy knife collecting. So I'm going to flip the video around and we'll talk about some stuff. All right, so this is everything that I currently have that's not a kitchen knife. Okay. Where should we start? Let's start with some of my just favorites. Okay. Now these are reproduction Jimmy Lyle Rambo knives. Okay. Uh, they're really not that expensive and they're fun. If I was a kid, I'd have gone nuts with them. These knives are under $200. That's the First Blood knife. That is the Rambo knife, and that's a knife. That's the I want to say Gil Hibbard. I think that's Rambo 3. I haven't gotten a reproduction of the Rambo 4 or 5 knives because I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but those look like fun. I bought this 30 years ago. It's a modern K-bar. Frankly, I think that this particular knife is just trash. It's, a reproduction of what they issued in World War II, and I think I'm going to pick me up a couple of them. My dad has World War II issue Camillus that was my grandfather's. Used to carry it around a lot when I was a kid. See if I'll come into that, in possession of that in the future. Let me see. Here we have my, as Lance calls it, my Staghorn pig sticker. Pretty much exactly what it is. That's my Randall made. Of course, I've talked to you guys about that before. These are probably my two favorite knives in my collection. The one in the middle is called a Gurkha Kukri Longleaf. It's traditional. This is the goat's hide scabbard, and these are the two patch knives. And patch knives are harken back to muskets. These two knives were made prior to 1890. I just posted a link on Facebook. I bought these from Atlanta Cutlery Corporation in the early 2000s when they imported them directly from Nepal. There was a big warehouse, I guess, that the Nepalese government sold of all these antique weapons. But these knives are literally hand hammered and designed using leaf springs from wagons, horse-drawn wagons. And they're big, fairly heavy, really powerful, sharp as all get out. And you can even see some of the old hammer marks when they made the blade. And these patch knives were also made from the same type of steel, but there's no edge on them. I haven't quite figured out these. They're used to cut the patches for patch and ball rifles, but they were never edged, and I'll never do it to them. I don't want to ruin any perceived value they may or may not have. But patch knives. So you got your knife to cut your ball patching for when you're loading your muzzle loading musket. But frankly, in combat, I'd be more concerned about the guy yielding these two knives. They are just crazy. You can literally lop the head off a buffalo with the one in the middle. The other one is more of a fighting knife. The other one they call traditional longleaf kukri. A lot of history in these knives. Of course, if you know anything about Nepal, it was a British territory, or it was under the control of the British Empire, and as were a lot of countries in the Middle East, Far East, Africa, etc. And quite a lot of history there. That's one of the reasons I picked them up. They're authentic. They literally shipped when they got to the United States, I bought them. They came directly to me. I cleaned them up a little bit, and there they are. Just, just to keep them from rusting. Some other stuff I've got. Okay, I've come back over here. These two knives I've had since I was in the Coast Guard. This one right here is my sail knife. This knife I bought it from NavServe at the Navy base in Charleston, South Carolina in summer 1988. Went over there when I was on the crew of the Rambler before I broke my leg. So I've literally had this since June maybe of 1988. And this was literally carried in my pocket during my Coast Guard time. Literally, you can see, I worked it. It's got scratch marks. I could probably polish the handle up and make it black again. It's got a lot of that weird kind of gray patina on it. I picked up this diving knife also at NavServe. I think I picked this up in 1989. We went over there, and this is, NavServe is the shopping store, basically the shopping mart for, for the Navy and Coast Guard. Our unit would go over there. We had a certain amount of money to spend, everything from paint brushes to paints to tools to you name it. And I picked that up. It originally came with this old leather sheath, but I hated that. It was like a boot knife type sheath, but I picked up the diving knife sheath for it, which I really liked. Actually, I've worn this a lot of times. Put it on your arm, cinch it up, and get in the water. Okay, some fun knives from my childhood days. I think I got this at a flea market for like $1. This is a huge lockback. It is an absolute piece of garbage. The only reason I keep it is the nostalgia that I had it when I was like 14 years old. I used to carry it in a toolbox, a tackle box in the car and whatnot. It was just a piece of shit of a knife. And I used it. This is the thing I would stick in the dirt. It's like tent stake / knife / tool. And it is garbage. As a knife, as far as a knife's concerned, I would never buy that today. But I bought it back then. The one in the middle, I think it's a Case XX. I don't know if it says on it. Yep, Case XX. I bought this knife in middle school. I was probably 6th or 7th grade. And it's the original sheath with it right there beside it. I have probably skinned and cleaned 500 rabbits, squirrels, pheasants, ducks, you name it. When I was a kid, we hunted a lot of small game, and that was the knife that I always had. Bought it for inexpensive. I think I got it at a sporting goods store or a hardware store in Coal City, Illinois when I was in middle school, and had it ever since. Although it's been decades since I've used it. It just resides in I've owned it for forever collection. I've talked to you guys a little bit about these knives before. This knife I found this on the ground fishing one day, about 5 or 6 years ago. It's one of my favorite makes. The hell is it? Gerber? Is it a Gerber? Yes, it is a Gerber. Found it on the ground. It's sharp as hell. It's a nice quality little lockback. I use this to open everything from literally almost daily. Letters, packages, steak if I can't find another knife within reach. It's like a go-to knife that just kind of sits on my counter within reach most of the time. This I keep in my bear hunting pack, but this is going to it's a Kershaw. Is that a Kershaw? Or is that a Gerber also? Kershaw. I like Kershaw. I like Gerber. A couple of my favorite blades, but Lance was, giving me shit about my stag handle pig sticker. But this knife right here actually is a very durable, very high quality, very sharp knife. And this is more of a everyday use, kind of keep in reach, kind of good old fashioned fighting / utility knife that, I keep around. So, and it, the pig sticker might be there, but this is the one that's actually in my pocket. This I got when I bought a $50 raffle ticket from Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I think I picked it up in Baton Rouge. Had it for a long time. It's just kind of there. It's nothing I would consider any kind of a great knife. It's just, cheap Chinesium. It's got a little edge on it. I use that as a utility knife in the workshop or whatever occasionally too. This knife, this is an absolute piece of trash. All right, it's heavy, but it has two things on it. I think the most important one is it's got the glass break on the back of it. I'd like to keep a couple of these around because if you're in a car and you're in an accident, you need to get out of your vehicle. People that in Florida are more familiar with the need to have something like this, because if you accidentally end up in a canal, if you can break your glass, you can get out. A lot of people drown in their cars in canals in Florida because they can't get out of them. It also has right here by my pinky finger a seatbelt cutter, which I think is kind of funny because what's this? Okay, this is a ambulance drivers or first responders kind of a knife. I think I actually got this at a fireman's show in Austin, maybe San Antonio, can't quite remember where. So it's got a seatbelt cutter, it's got a glass break, and it's just a lockback knife. The blade is kind of sharp, but it's really kind of a shitty lockback. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of lockbacks where you got to press the lockback over right there, because these slip quite often. But it's a knife, it's okay. It's kind of heavy. You know, again, this is another one of those knives that just kind of lays around within reach. If I need a knife, I'll grab it. But I do like the glass break. Now, I actually have my medicine kit, which is with me anytime I leave the house with an intention of being gone more than, anywhere I can find myself in a position to be gone overnight, I carry my med kit with me. Keeps me out of trouble. And I actually have a glass break, which is on an ink pen of all things, and I keep that in my medicine kit now. It's on the outside of it. You may have seen it. But anyway, I've talked to you guys about this knife. This is a very heavily used hunting knife of mine. Had it for about 30 years now. Dad gave it to me. One of those ones, it's got a lot of utilitarian features to it. Non-stick grip, so on and so forth. Okay. Here I've got some small knives. Okay. First, let me start over here. This small knife right here, if you're watching this and you're from Coal City, Illinois, and you lost your knife somewhere around 1983 at the Coal City Area Club near the Twin Island Pit, for those who know, I found it on the ground. Had it ever since. If you want it back, too bad. Finders keepers. I think 30 years of ownership, pretty much. 40 years of ownership, pretty much says it's mine. Anyway, it was a cute little knife. Found it, kept it in my tackle box, used it a lot. But now it's just one of those I never touch. Over here, of course, I got boys. As I'm always thinking about picking my boys up stuff and giving my boys stuff. And this knife right here is just a little pocket knife that I picked up. It's never been used. I still have the box, the wrapping. Okay. Same with this one. This is another little pocket knife that I picked up for my boys. Eventually, give it to them or grandkids or something one day. Original sheath, original case with the original wrapping. I mean, I'm a geek that way. Just a cool looking little knife. Just a little pocket knife. These right here are Boy Scout whittling knives. So I picked these up when I was a Boy Scout den leader, Cub Scout den leader for my son Ben and all his old friends he was in elementary school with, first grade. And he used it to whittle his bar of soap, his first ever little whittling project. I'm glad I kind of dug this up. It had been in a box for forever. And I'll give it to him one day. Or whenever he asks for it, he can have it. This is the exact same knife that one of his little friends never picked up. He joined, started with us, and then just didn't come around. His name is John Gay. He ended up graduating high school with my son, went to the Air Force Academy to play football, left there. I think he transferred to Penn State. His dad is John Gay, former Pittsburgh Steeler. Great guy. Used to love having him come over to the house with his son, doing Cub Scout stuff. And then Ben and John were in Pee Wee football together for, Pee Wee football all the way through high school. And it's kind of cool just to see him move on. But since John never picked up his knife, I planned on giving it to Tanner. But I quit doing the Cub Scout den leader thing. And when Ben moved into, Weeblos, Scouting at that time, you know, they were going gay, and they were moving in a direction that I really didn't like. So I backed out of it. I used to have I was a scout, was really heavily involved in their merit badge program, and I was a Boy Scout merit badge counselor, wilderness survival, environmental study, life saving. What else did I do? Reptile and amphibian. Well, basically everything that I was either professional or had vocational experience in, I was a merit badge counselor for them. And it was fun, but those days are long gone. So some other knives I've got. Of course, I showed you my hunting knife. These are Marbles knives. Now, original Marbles knives come from Michigan. Marbles knives got bought out by somebody, and now they're not made, by the original family from Michigan. But these are original. I bought them because they're original, and basically I've just been hanging on to them. I just thought they're nice little hunting knives, and part of the collection. This knife right here I purchased specifically for skinning. I wanted something that did better on hides and capes when I went hunting, to skin out an animal, not just gut it and field dress it, but to completely remove the skin. And this had a really nice round blade, but it took me about 5 seconds to realize it was just bringing another knife. It was adding more weight. And once I discovered that there was a host of other less expensive options, I went with it. So it's just kind of there. Up here, I like bayonets. Now, this is not every bayonet I've owned, but it's the coolest ones I've owned. This one right here is a bayonet from World War I. Made it through to World War II and didn't get cut down, okay? When I say cut down, they took this bayonet and cut it down to this length, which you can find. You see this bayonet from World War II. This is for an M1 Garand. You can see where the blood groove ends and the tip is. Well, when they cut these down, you ended up with the blood groove going all the way to the end. I don't have one of those yet, and I am going to have to pick one up. Pretty cool, just a cool collector's piece, but bought that, and that were the first two I bought once I picked up an M1 Garand in the old days. And these are Vietnam era bayonets for M16s. I can't remember if they go on M14s too, but I think they do. You can see the Alice web clips, which Alice gear was like pegboard for soldiers. The belts had holes in them. The Alice packs had holes in them. We got away from that in the late 1980s and switched to Molly gear. Another one, I basically have two of the same. I didn't do that too often, but there's got to be a reason I have two of the same. I haven't figured it out yet. If not, then I've just got two of the same. So, some more modern era. This is a Desert Storm era bayonet for an M16. Next to it is 1990s into 2000s more modern era bayonet. Now, if you notice, it's more Molly gear oriented for putting on your Molly gear. This Coast Guard bayonet, it actually is a Coast Guard bayonet. You can see that it might be modern in construction, but actually still has the Alice gear clip on the back, which doesn't sit well with me. I never saw one of these in the Coast Guard, never used one of these in the Coast Guard. Somebody decided to, they're manufactured by the same manufacturers that make these. They just decided to make them orange, for some Coast Guard reason. Which I really don't know too much about, so I'll dig up on that. This is where I like to do a little bit of research, history versus the actual pieces. If I own something, I like to learn how it got there, where it's been, the history, etc., all kind of fun stuff. That's why I really like my Gurkha Kukris. Anyway, so that's my non-kitchen knife collection. Pretty fun stuff. More to come.